Verdant Blended Blur Pale Ale.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. I've got one from the Verdant Brewery today, based down there in a place called Falmouth in Cornwall, or specifically Penryn. If you've never been to Cornwall before, I suggest you get down there, not in the winter. It's pretty grim in winter, but if you get down there in the summer, it is absolutely gorgeous. I can vouch for that, definitely. I'm sure a lot of you looking at this have been to Cornwall, but if you haven't, get yourselves down there. There's quite a few craft brewers down there, and Verdant are probably one of the best renowned craft brewers to come from around that area. They've not been going that long. 2014, I think, was when they first started, but already they have created quite a good reputation for New World style IPAs and pale ales. That's really all they do, or it's what they specialise in anyway. And one thing I will say about them, they are very expensive. Now, I know craft beer is expensive, and I know they've got overheads, they brew small batches, etc, etc, so they need to put a big markup on their beer because they haven't got the high turnover that macro brewers have got. That's just a fact. But this can cost £4.79. Now, I didn't pay that. I swapped this with a fella in one of the local craft brew bars because I don't know whether you want to do a look up on it, but I had some chili beetroot flavoured Hefeweizen. Honestly, that shit was disgusting. And I somehow managed to end up with 2 cans. And it was sat in my fridge for ages, and I happened to mention it to one of the barmen down in the Seller's Arms in Maidstone, and he said, "I'll bring it up. You can swap it for something else." He said, "Because I love that stuff." I thought, Christ Almighty, you're welcome to it. So I brought it up, and he said, "Here, have a can of the Verdant stuff." Now, I can't remember, but I'm sure the chili Hefeweizen wasn't as expensive as this stuff, but I'm not complaining. So here I am with a can of Verdant Blended Blur Pale Ale. So let's get it open and see whether it was worth it. Right, before I do, I will just quickly go over what it is. It is a 440ml can. It is 4.8%. It is a pale ale. Now, I'm pretty sure this is going to be an American style pale ale. It's got Columbus and Laurel hops in it. Columbus hops, very interesting because you get US Columbus hops and you get European Columbus hops. Now, the European Columbus hops are very similar to German noble hops. So they've got that, that nice earthiness, the peppery spice to them, and not much citrus. However, if you get the American Columbus hops, then you get the citrus, you get the spice, and you get floral notes as well. So that's what I'm assuming this is. Then you've got the Laurel hops, which are known for their dark fruit flavours, their lemon flavours, and also their pepper spice type flavours as well. So that's quite an interesting combination. So let's get it open and let's see how good a combination it is. Right, now this is cold. It's come out of the fridge. It's been sat in my fridge for ages because I have had a load of good beer in that fridge that I've just tried before I got round to this. So here I am getting this into a glass. Wow, there's a lot of carbonation on that. What's on the nose? Oh yeah, a lemon sherbet is the first thing. There's a little bit of grapefruit, quite bitter grapefruit on there, and a little touch of spice. Not a lot, but it's there. Interesting. Let's get the rest of it in there. And look at that, it's a nice colour. Almost like a Vit beer. If I didn't know better, I couldn't smell them huge citrusy aromas coming from this. Then I would swear that was a Vit beer. Looks quite nice in the glass. Very hazy. Can't see through that at all. Fair bit of carbonation. Let's get it down the hatch. Bottoms up. Interesting. Dive in again. Very fruity. You've got mango, you've got pineapple, a very, very small trace of pine, which is giving it a nice sort of bitterness to it. There is like a bitter grapefruit on that, but that's quite toned down, and that doesn't really leave a big bitter aftertaste on the finish. Some nice tropical stone fruit flavours as well. Definitely some mango in there too. This is all about the fruit, and it's pretty much what they say on the tin. They're saying, where is it? Am I seeing things? I'm sure it said something about it being fruity on here. There's oats in this as well. There's wheat and oats, just shows you know, and you do get quite a nice body to this too. No, it doesn't. I must have been reading it. Oh, I must have been reading it somewhere else, maybe on the website. Although I don't recall it being on the website. Maybe subliminal messages are being sent to me from Verdant. It's really nice though. That is a really nice balance. And as pale ales go, American style pale ales, wow, I'm just getting some type of grassy, flowery type flavour in there now too. This is quite interesting. But I was going to say, as American style pale ales go, this is a really nice one, I have to say. And Verdant are, as I say, well renowned for their IPAs and their pale ales, usually American unfiltered style IPAs. And this is a really good effort. Tons of fruit, but it hasn't got that big grapefruit and pine finish on it that you get on a lot of these style, you know, these craft brewed style American pale ales. And I have to say, I'm not keen on that. Now, I don't mind some resin style flavours in an IPA or in a pale ale, but they can get too overbearing, and when you get that on the finish, sometimes it can just kill all the really nice fruit and citrus style flavours that you get in the mouth, and it leaves you with a very bitter aftertaste. Now, don't get me wrong, some people like that intense bitterness, like resin and grapefruit type bitterness and lime bitterness as well. I must admit, I'm not a massive fan of it, but this hasn't got that at all. It has got a certain bit of grapefruit on there and lemon type bitterness, but it's not intense, and it does leave room for the nice sweet fruit that you've got on this as well. That's really nice, really tropical, and all in all, I really like that. That is a good one. So what's the verdict on Blended Blur? Well, put it this way, I swapped this for a can of chili beetroot Hefeweizen, and believe me, this is 100 times better than that shit was. If you want to see my review on that, just look up beetroot chili Hefeweizen. But this is what I swapped it for, and I'm so glad I did, because that is a really nice pale ale, American style pale ale. Now, what I will warn you about is this is £4.79 a can. Now that is not cheap by anybody's standards. However, if you do not mind paying £4.79 a can for 440ml of American style pale ale, then be my guest. I'm not sure whether I like the beer that much that I would pay £4.79 for it. In fact, if I saw this on a online beer website, I'm not sure whether I would buy that or not, because I think there's better beer out there, different styles of beer for less money. So that is a shame. I think if a lot of these craft brewers, and this is just my take, and of course they've got overheads. I don't run a business, I'm just a punter. But if the prices came down a little bit, I'm sure there would be more uptake on it. People generally look at the price of craft beer and they automatically assume they're getting good beer for their money. Now, in this case, yeah, they are. But in a lot of cases, you pay a lot of money for craft beer and it is very fucking average. And a lot of the time, it's not even that. So, there's the rub. But, getting back to this beer, this is a good one. I'm going to give it... I was going to give it an 8, but I'm going to give it a 7.5. And the reason I'm going to knock 3.5 points off of it for is 3.5. It's not, it's 2.5. I can't even fucking add up. Twat. The reason I'm going to knock 2.5 off for it is purely the price. That is almost a £5 a can. Now, as I say, you know my views on it, I've just mentioned them, so that's why. But if you do not mind paying a lot of money for good craft beer, then fill your boots, because this is a really nice American style pale ale. I like it. It's 7.5 out of 10. It would be more if it cost less. And remember, beer is working class champagne.